Thanks for tuning in and welcome to our next session on how Bloomreach transformed their funnel with agentic marketing. I'm Claire Evan, Director of Product Marketing here at Qualified. I'm here with one of our great customer champions, Denisa Helandova with Bloomreach. Denisa, thanks so much for joining us. Just to kick off, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and Bloomreach?
Yeah, sure. Hi, thanks for having me. So I'm Denisa. I worked as a strategic marketing operations manager here at Bloomreach. And I manage various different marketing operations processes and automations. Used to be things like lead scoring. Now those are projects like our inbound automation, our SDR, AI SDR, and things like that.
Love it. Awesome. And can you just tell us a little bit about Bloomreach?
Sure. Yeah. So Bloomreach, powered by AI, is built for real-time personalization. So our platform tailors every customer interaction to drive revenue, growth, loyalty, mostly for B2C brands and retailers.
Awesome. Love it. Well, I'm really excited to chat with you just about Bloomreach's evolution with inbound using Piper. And you're, such a expert in marketing ops. You're the perfect person to have this convo with. So your team was looking to really transform your approach with inbound. Can you just talk about some of the challenges that Bloomreach was having with inbound before using an AI SDR like Piper?
Yes. So we used to, probably like most marketing teams, very traditionally approach this whole inbound funnel. So we had traditional MQL scoring, which was very complex. We are focused more on trying to bring forward or surface most relevant leads for our SDRs. So this was involved multiple workflows. We used multiple different tools for these MQL scorings. We had like 3 or 4 different types of MQLs. So we've got demo requests, hand raisers, content downloads, event leads, and all of that. And this also involved a lot of manual intervention. We had a great SDR team, obviously. They did a great job, but it was still very manual. So loads of workflows to surface these relevant leads. Then we passed them on to our SDRs, and they then still had to manually review those, sales accept or reject, and then obviously manually follow up. And we've seen, so we saw potential to, try and automate part of this with AI on the rise, obviously, the big topic. So we started looking into this and saw that there is a potential. We can save SDR's time. We can try and automate the, first part of that entire process, from the qualification to that whole initial follow-up. So we can then, we don't have to worry about the SDR capacity, but rather have them focus on building those, human connections, the relationships, getting to those meetings, preparing for the meetings. So this is basically where we started with the journey. Yeah. And almost there at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, so many marketing teams today are approaching inbound in that same vein, right? It's the process that's been set up for so many years to have, a ton of volume of inbound leads. You only have so many human SDRs to work those leads. And so you develop an MQL process to obviously hand over the hottest of hot leads. But often with that, the perfection in that process, there's a lot of pain. There's, slow speed to lead. There's sometimes like a lack of efficiency. And so it's awesome that AI was, sort of the place you looked to improve this. So you started exploring some different solutions. How did you ultimately land on Piper as the right AI SDR agent to bring on to scale inbound?
So we actually experimented before with different AI SDR agents. And that's where we sort of realized that, okay, this could work. There is a potential. But we realized 2 things. One was that the tools still at that time had some limitations. So we obviously wanted to personalize as much as we can, scale this. And then the second part was we also realized our data was not AI SDR ready yet fully. So there was sort of 2 aspects of that. And then we actually implemented Qualified as a meeting booking tool first. So that was even before we knew about Piper email. But once we implemented this, we already then seen how this works, seen the increase in like meetings booked on our website. And then when we got to see what Piper can do, and Piper email specifically, that basically was like, okay, let's try experiment, see what we can do. So before we even started with email campaigns, we first had to make sure though our data is ready or we can use this. So we actually did a lot of optimization our entire data structure to get this to AI SDR ready. We completely sort of retired the whole old MQL funnel and moved more towards sort of like an ICP focus leads that are coming to us with like any interactions. So we used AI to clean up our data, categorize our data, did this advanced qualifications and categorize marketing interactions, preparing all of this, creating loads of AI-driven workflows, and then used all of this information in these Piper AI email campaigns, right?
I love that. So yeah, I mean, obviously using Piper, the data is super important for any, AI tool that you're going to use. And I love that you went through this process. And yeah, really we're on the cutting edge of retiring MQLs and moving more towards, the activities that AI wants to pick up on rather than, what a human SDR is going to pick up on. So you obviously chose Piper for the email capabilities. Can you tell us just a little bit about the inbound process at Bloomreach now? Like, obviously, the MQL process has changed, but how does inbound lead follow-up work now using Piper at the center of all of this?
Yes. So right now, our vision is to fully automate this entire inbound process. Right now, we're almost there. I'd say we're like 80% of the entire process being automated, which is great. So how it looks like now is we don't have the regular MQLs as we used to. Instead of that, basically, we have our own, as I said, we used AI to do some advanced qualification with our data, our own data. So we now know who our ICP contacts and accounts are. Now, if any of these contacts come to us, whether they submit a demo request or they download a piece of content, they were at the event, we now use this information. We created different email campaigns in AI emails with Piper. So we've got campaign per activity, I'd say. So like separate one for a demo request and separate one for event follow-up. And as I said, we also use like this marketing activity categorization, which is that's the trigger. We're telling this to Piper. So this is the lead that came in through an event and they, visited our booth, for example. And this contact is automatically enrolled into this specific campaign, and then Piper is following up, trying to book a meeting. And this is basically where once that happens, so all the inbound is automated by Piper, and then if they booked a meeting, either through these emails or through our website, where we also use Qualified, once they book a meeting, this is the point where we create an opportunity and hand it over to our sales rep. So the entire first sort of the initial qualification, the initial outreach, the follow-up, this is all automated now, primarily by Piper. And then once this lead is, self-qualified and we know that they want to get to that meeting, that's where we hand it over to sales reps so they can pick this up and then focus on that meeting, converting those leads into qualified opportunities and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. You've taken on sort of the bulk of those, just, the tasks and the speed, and given that to AI, and that let human reps focus on what they do best, which is preparing for that meeting and ensuring that meeting goes well. So then it's actually converting, which is great. I mean, so you've really moved to this agentic marketing funnel that we talk about so much here. It's such a cool story, and it's really exciting to see that all inbound follow-up is going to be handled by Piper, 80%, you said at this point, and the vision. That's awesome. Obviously, you've seen some great results. Just continue on this fully automated journey with Piper. So what's some of the impact that you've seen so far?
We've definitely seen some results already. Just to be fair, though, completely transparent, we're also still in a learning phase. We're not 100% automated yet, on our way there. So one thing I think it's really, really cool is overall, not just thanks to Piper email, but qualified meetings booked as well, where we've seen increase for, I think, around like 40% year over year since we implemented qualified. And this is combination of all the meetings booked on our website and via Piper email. So this was really cool. One of the biggest ones, I think, which is really, really exciting, is that time lead speed to lead. Yeah, time from lead to open opportunity. So thanks to Piper, but also because of our automations that we have in our place, as I mentioned, because we build this entire data structure around trying to automate all of this. We have multiple automations, and we decreased time from lead to open opportunity by 95%, which I think is incredible. But also then time from lead to qualified opportunity, I think by 60%. And this is also really, really exciting because that's mostly thanks to that first part that we automated, right? Because after the op is opened, it is on sales reps, on our SDRs and AEs to try and convert those opportunities. But because we saved so much time in that first part, now this is also increased. And I also say one really interesting metric that we found is that because we moved from the traditional MQL scoring to this new way of basically going after every single ICP contact that has interaction, we increased the volume of these relevant leads, which also helped us then increase the volume of qualified opportunities. So we're creating almost twice as many as we used to before. So that's really interesting.
I mean, that is like the promise of, moving to this agentic marketing funnel, right? Is that you ideally, of course, you want to get more meetings. That's great. You guys are seeing an increase there, but you're also seeing a huge, decrease in speed to lead. And that's then affecting quality of leads. It's affecting, the volume of leads that are coming through to the sales team. So that's just incredible. So last question, you and your team, you're clearly on the cutting edge. As you said, you're learning in this process, but any lessons learned or just guidance you would give to other teams who want to move in this direction of a more agentic marketing funnel?
Yeah, as you said, we're still in a learning phase as well. We know some things that work already. We know some things that don't, but there is still because this is evolving every day as well. So there is still so many things we don't know, and we're still learning. One thing that's for sure is what I mentioned is that the data is very important. So have your data AI SDR ready, which we initially realized that we don't. So we built loads of different very cool things around this. And then the other thing, which I think is also very important, is sort of this. So buying from other teams or from other people at the company, but also open communication. So we are a very AI first company overall. Our CMO is great, very, go and try, fail, try again, let's go. So this is great. This is very important. But also then everyone at Bloomreach, I'd say, is very sort of AI knowledgeable. But then as a marketing operations team, because we are at the center of it, maybe a little bit more than some other teams. So that sort of that enable and open communication is very important. So I, for example, have weekly calls with our SDRs. So we get the feedback. We make sure everyone knows what's happening. I keep saying that we're not trying to take their jobs. We're not trying to replace them with AI SDR. That's absolutely not the point. We still need a human touch. That's very important. Always will be. Like AI won't replace that connection, but we're trying to, sort of trying to shift the mindset maybe a little bit. So they have more time to spend on more important things on, doing the research, preparing for the meetings, building their relationships. And this there's been a bit of a pushback, which probably everyone can expect. But this really helped us, like weekly sync calls and taking the feedback, optimizing, and actually like learning from what they telling us. So because they are the experts, right? I'm not a salesperson, so I can prompt AI, but then I've never sold anything in my life. They know what they're talking about. So taking their feedback. So but I'd say like it's been great. I really enjoy doing this. So this is like a toy that we could get to play with. So definitely, and seeing the great results so far. So really excited to see what's going to come next.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Denisa, just for coming and sharing Bloomreach's story. It's so exciting what you guys are doing with Piper. So we really, really appreciate it.